Go Island is brought to you by German Auto Import Network.
The kids go back to school next week, and today we're going to spend some time with Jodie from the Tom and Jodie Catering Show to give you some tips and very practical ideas to make your kids' lunches fabulous. On today's show, behavior assessments at Nanaimo's Child Development Center, hands-on learning at the Deep Bay Marine Field Station, and Derek and Todd try to beat the clock. That and more in the next 30 minutes. You're watching Go Island on Shaw TV Channel 4. This is Jodie Robert-Shaw. She's with the Tom and Jodie Catering Show, here today with some ideas and tips to help you make the most of your kids' lunches. They are going back to school next week. We're going to start, though, with some overall concepts. What do you keep in mind when it comes to lunches?
Absolutely. First things first is get your kids involved. Bring them to the grocery store. Get them in the kitchen with you, helping to prepare items, helping you cook dinner. My kids are always in the kitchen. They have their own little special spatulas that they use. Aww. You know, one's pink and one's blue, one for the boy, one for the girl.
I'm already inspired. Now, before you get to the kitchen, you got to get to the grocery store. Absolutely. And you involve your kids in the grocery store process.
My kids love coming to the grocery store with me. You know, it's a bit of a trek sometimes. It can be a bit of a challenge, but it's always lots of fun. And they get to pick their own food as well. I always encourage them to find something at the grocery store that they would like to eat in their lunches.
One of the things that I don't let my kids choose in the grocery store is junk food prepackaged, and I guess that's something, it's easy to do, but not worth it in the end when it comes to lunches?
Yeah, easy to do, definitely, and you know, just a little bit of planning ahead of time. Avoid those middle shelving units in the grocery store. Stick to the outsides, and you know, there may not be a fight in the end. So stick to the outsides, and that's where you'll find all those wonderful things that you can make.
I know when I wander into the inside, I never get out without some junk that I didn't plan on picking up in the first place. And you did refer to it briefly, but planning ahead. I mean, you wake up 6 o'clock in the morning, you open your fridge or your cupboard, and you go, what am I sending for lunch today?
Absolutely. I always spend about an hour writing down a grocery list, thinking of some dinners that I'm going to cook with my kids for the rest of the week that I could also include in their lunches for the next day for leftovers.
Okay, and that becomes the main dish. Okay, we're going to talk about mains, sides, and baking that can be a side or a treat that incorporates, well, getting the kids involved, making healthy choices, and planning ahead. That's still to come on this edition of Go Island. We are now heading over to the Child Development Center in Nanaimo. Jocelyn Matwee looks at how children are assessed by team members at the CDC to meet the kids' needs that they might have. Shaw TV, the Child Development Center, and the Port Theatre are partnering on the first ever Child Development Telethon. It takes place coming up really soon, September the 29th at the Port Theatre. It will be broadcast live on Shaw TV, runs from 12 until 8. We encourage you to get involved by donating or by just coming down to the theatre and watching it in person. We're going to take a short break on this edition of Go Island and come back with some more tips for your kids' lunch. Still to come today on Go Island, university learning open to the public in Deep Bay, and the boys are loose on the streets of Parksville for another edition of Clocked. That and more still to come today on Go. Today we're talking back to school lunches, and once you get the main out of the way, then it's downhill and coasting from there. So planning ahead, you've had dinner and you've hopefully been able to incorporate leftover dinner into lunch.
Absolutely.
For example,
one of my kids' big time favorites is pizza. They love cold pizza, they love hot pizza. It's a great way to get all of the basic, you know, your basic 4 food groups into one dish.
Because you're talking homemade pizza, not delivery or frozen.
Homemade pizza, and it's super easy too. You can grate your own cheese, you can buy your own ingredients, cut them up. Let the kids make their own pizza. That's the fun part of it, absolutely.
Now, another main you've got here, soup, and I don't know if a lot of people would think of that.
No, but it's a great way to get some lots of healthy and way to use leftovers as well. Get healthy ingredients, leftovers. I often make a big pot of soup for dinner or for lunch, and I package the rest of them up into individual containers, or you can simply put in a thermos as well and send it hot to school.
Okay, so you need a thermos to send with the kids, or know that there's a microwave.
Or know that there's a microwave. My kids' daycare does have a microwave to use, so I can just send a little container like this with soup.
And then a lot of the kids, high schools, have
Absolutely.
microwaves as well. What about a sandwich? I mean, that's kind of a staple main when it comes to lunch.
Definitely.
No peanut butter and jam.
No peanut butter and jam, no. Lots of great ways to use leftover roasted chicken, just simple mayonnaise, mustard, roast chicken, maybe some cucumbers on there. One of my favorites and my kids' favorites is salmon. It's leftover barbecued salmon. Depends. Some tastes aren't really that much. Lots of kids don't like
my
salmon.
daughter would eat it, my son probably wouldn't. So,
But some simple Greek yogurt, some fresh herbs, and mix it all together, and you can put that on a sandwich as well.
a chicken leg.
A
You
chicken
said just
leg.
take a chicken leg cold, put it in the lunch, and there you go.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
Great, nice little herb seasoning on there, leftover from dinner. Put it in a little bag.
Awesome. One of the things that people have for dinner a lot at home with kids, I know at my house, tacos.
Tacos
And
are
you can turn that into lunch?
absolutely. Often chicken or ground turkey, really good cold the next day. You can put it inside a wrap, or if you want to be a little bit healthy, you can put it inside lettuce. Take a big lettuce leaf, lettuce wrap, cheese, vegetables,
All there.
all there.
I think I want to come and hang out at Jodie's
Everybody wants to
house
come to my house for
a
dinner all the
week.
time.
Yeah, get all the ideas and see how it all comes together. We're going to give you more ideas for lunches later on this edition of Go Island. But right now we're throwing things over to Annette Lucas. It's another installment of our Arbutus RV's Big Summer. We're checking out the Deep Bay Marine Field Station. The kids go back to school next week, and that means that you, if you're a parent, will be preparing lunches yet again. We're here with some ideas and tips. Jodie Roberts-Shaw of the Tom and Jodie Catering Show is a mom, loves to cook, and I already want to go spend a week at her house to get some ideas. We're talking sides now. We've covered some ideas for main dishes when it comes to lunches. What do you put with your main?
What do I put with my main? Well, one thing that's really big and popular in our house is something that you can pick up in your hand and snack on. So I hit up the grocery store, we go to the bulk section, I pick up some different snack items, no nuts, that's a big deal
But you can do seeds.
But you can do seeds.
You can do the seeds.
Got sunflower seeds, some raisins. Let your kids decide what they want to put in it, and then get them involved as well. They can make their own trail mix. Take a little bit of each bag,
And then
put
they're
it all
doing
in a
this
big bowl.
themselves.
They do this themselves, and then they get their special spoons and they mix it all together. And then we just package it into little individual bags for them.
Awesome. And then I think another tip is that when you're making your kids' lunch, make one for yourself.
Absolutely.
And take it to work as well. Vegetables, a big part of
Vegetables,
lunches.
absolutely. It's a great, easy way to get good stuff in your kids. Let your kids pick out what vegetables they want to have. And then what I do when I come home from the grocery store is I prepare. It takes me about 20 minutes. I wash them, I cut them, I package them into little individual bags, enough for the week, the whole week. And then they just get put in the fridge and they get to grab their own when it's time to pack their lunch.
So you were saying that you spend about 3 hours a week grocery shopping and planning out. And then when it comes time to actually make the lunch in the morning, it probably takes you, what, 5-10 minutes?
5 minutes.
5 minutes.
5 minutes.
Okay.
My husband and I both work full time, so quick, easy, and healthy is our motto.
Sounds like you guys got it nailed. I'm already inspired. We'll be back with more ideas for your children's lunches after a short break. You're watching Go Island on Shaw TV Channel 4. We're talking back to school lunches with Jodie Roberts-Shaw. We've covered mains, we've covered sides, the healthy veggies, and now it's a side, it's a treat. We're calling it baking. That's a big
Baking.
part of lunches at your house.
Absolutely. Replacing those prepackaged granola bars, I make mini muffins. They're really easy to do.
cute.
They're very cute. Muffins, this was actually my first cooking book that I got when I was 7 years old. So I've been making muffins for as long as I can remember. And it's probably one of the easiest things to make. You mix your wet ingredients, you mix your dry ingredients, you mix them both together, you put it in a muffin pan, in the oven for about 15 minutes. And then I just package these little things up in mini bags, and they're good in the freezer for the rest of the week.
And lots of pluses to that. You can avoid the nuts. You can
Absolutely.
be reassured that there's no nuts being used. You can use your old
Leftover bananas. I often put mine in the freezer and just grab a couple out when I need them.
Yeah. You can get your kids involved.
Yeah, absolutely. They like to mix the mixture together and pick what ingredients they like to put in it. We did these last night, and these are leftover bananas, some maple syrup, and raisins.
Okay, and you can use applesauce and things like that. Lots of recipes available in cookbooks and online as well. And you can freeze them too, and then it fits into that planning ahead and getting a packed lunch in 5 minutes.
Absolutely.
Well, you've been very helpful today,
Thank you.
Jodie, and I still want to go over to your house and spend at least one day, and that would be planning day and prep day. And I don't think that's actually going to happen, but I'll keep trying. We're going to throw things over now to a brand new installment of Clocked. We've got Todd Jones and Derek Johnstone on a search that's based on a couple of letters from the alphabet. Let's see how they do. You probably don't realize that that was the 10th edition of Clocked, and out of those 10, I've only stumped the boys twice. They run around the studio office bragging that they've won. I don't look at it like that, though. As long as you were entertained and learned something about the region that you didn't know before, then everybody's a winner. That brings us to the end of this edition of Go Island. We'd like to thank Jodie from the Tom and Jodie Catering Show for sharing her lunch ideas with us today, as well as to Trish and Rudy Wittershoven. They are also known as Team W with Remax First Realty in Parksville, and they opened up their beautiful kitchen for us today. We had never met them before the taping of this show. Thanks for watching Go Island. We will see you next time at school, maybe with great lunches.
Go Island is brought to you by German Auto Import Network. Clothing supplied by Catwalk Fashions. Kate's Hair and Aesthetics provided by Maffeo Salon.